Alright, well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're working on a 1970 Chevelle and for a chassis setup. Alignment, whatever you want to call it. I call it chassis setup because it's not really an alignment. An alignment consists of setting your caster camber in tow and then moving it out the door. A chassis setup means taking a bunch of parts that have been put into a car and making them work together. This is a beautiful 1970 Chevelle running stock eliminator class. He just took out tubular control arms to put in factory arms so that he meets the class rules, and now it's a mess, in his words. So I've got his body weight in the car. I'm going to get the car set up, do a baseline alignment just to get my caster and camber close to where I want them. We'll figure out our bump steer kit because this looks to have a bare. Yeah, this has a bare bump steer kit on it. And so we'll sort that out, and then we'll recomp it, start over again, and check everything to make sure we have a consistent result. If you want to see what I do, stick around. There's my light. There's my light. That one's dead. That one's not. We currently have no shims in it, so we are starting from scratch on this one. Let me get this thing set up. I do love a gray car. Gray, white, blue. Those are my favorites. This thing's gonna need control arm bushings. But this isn't actually in the center of the control arm bushing. You can see how it's pushing out the back. See how that bushing's pushed all the way to the back, so the control arm's pushed all the way out. So this car is not alignable. We would not get consistent results. It has the original upper ball joints in it. So let's check ball joints next. Wheel bearing needs adjusted. So there's extra play in the driver's side hub. You can feel it. It rocks back and forth. Passenger side feels good as far as that's concerned. I'm not feeling any play in the upper or lower ball joints. The ball joints are good. But I'm going to guess the upper control arms need bushings just like the lower control arms need bushings. So setting up a car to run straight down the track requires consistent results. In this case, with the lower control arm bushings being so worn, they need to be replaced for this to handle in a consistent manner. So I'm going to talk to the customer. We're going to ask him what he wants to do, see if he wants us to put control arm bushings in it today, or if he's going to take it home and do those himself and then bring it back to us for an alignment. But I'm going to recommend upper and lower control arm bushings. The rest of it looks pretty good. Adjust the driver's wheel bearing, which is probably just a flat or two, not a lot, but there's definitely play there. So we want to have that run as true as possible. Other than that, it's a beautiful car, it really is. So let me go see what the customer wants us to do, and we'll go from there. So due to time constraints, our customer is asking us to align it the best we can. Obviously with the lower control arms moving around, loading and unloading, it's going to be less than desirable, but it's still going to be better than what it is now. So at least it'll get him down the track a couple times. He can order some parts and get this thing moving forward. Then once he puts new control arm bushings in it, he can bring it back. We can reset the camber caster in tow because it will change. And that'll actually be kind of interesting if it does come full circle. We'll be able to see after it's been aligned with worn bushings, and then with new bushings we'll be able to see what happens, you know, new bushings in, and gee, look at how far this is out now. So we'll see if that happens. Right now, let me get the heads put on here. We'll get it lined up and moving forward. That's a cool idea. He put the adjustable rear proportioning valve at his fingertips in the driver's seat. I like that idea. That's one of the things I love about getting to see all these cars. I get all these great ideas from all you great people out there. It's amazing. Oh, she's a pig. So it has no caster. Let's fix that. Alright, so I made some adjustments to caster and camber. I'm going to resweep my caster and then see where we're at. I'm going to play with the bump steer a little bit, try and get it down as low as I can, and then I'm going to recomp and start over. Just part of the process with doing this stuff. Some guys will be like, oh, you should only have this to roll compensation once on those. Well, yeah, but when you're trying to make sure it's right and you're making a bunch of adjustments, sometimes the head will get bumped, sometimes something will happen and it will lose the calibration. So I like to recomp my heads to make sure that I have repeatable results. But this is also not a flat rate job. This is a by the hour job. It takes time to do a proper setup, and that's just the reality of the world we live in. People aren't willing to do stuff that takes time anymore. They just want it in and out and pay me. And that's a shame that we've lost the desire to just get the stuff done and do it right, and the owners to pay the people for doing it right. So. Let me sweep caster. The problem is the lower bushing on this side is the control arm's pushed all the way out, which makes it really hard to get enough caster to make them even. The caster probably won't make a big deal on this, but it'll probably still be unstable going down the road if I can't match up the caster. I've got the camber pretty close at this point. I'm going to play with the bump steer to get it as far as I can. I figured out a nifty way to make changes on the S10 to get my bump steer where it needs to be, but it's going to require old school tricks. So I measure my center link and I measure my arms. My arms are different lengths, so I'm going to even out my arms, get my center link centered to the car, and then we'll kind of start over again. All sorts of weird things to your geometry. In a little bit. Let's check our toe out on lift. Well, we toe in 5-6 degrees. Let's see if we make it better. I'm going to leave that up. We're going to go up probably halfway. We'll put our big shim underneath. Oh man, those were tight. Nylock still feels good. I use an extra shim during setup so I don't wear the nylock out. Need shorter rods. Well, maybe not. This geometry. Great. Alright, now we're zero toe again. What do we do on lift? Now we're at the end of our travel. So now we only toe in less than 4 degrees. So we made an improvement. Let's go up some more. 1.5 degrees, toe in. Perfect. It's all the adjustment we have, but it's the best adjustment we've got, so that's what we'll run with. So I can lock bump steer down now. I'll play with my camber and toe a little bit more. See if I can get it to even out. But with this lower control arm bushing being blown completely out, it's going to be really hard to get my caster, which is your relation of your upper and lower ball joints to one another, because that lower control arm, the lower bushing is pushed out, it moves that lower ball joint back, so it makes it really hard to achieve high caster. So it is what it is. It'll be all right until it gets new bushings, and then it'll be back and get aligned again. Pretty good, really, all things considered. Put my shims away, my extra shims. I keep extra shims here now. Thanks to TMZ Motorsports, they grabbed a couple bags of shims and threw in a bag and charged me to ship them to me, which is wonderful. Thank you, TMZ. Well, I added some more caster to the driver's side. We'll see what happens with that. So I'm going to go ahead and recomp it, sweep my caster, set my toe, which really isn't off too bad, and then we'll just double check stuff, and I think that'll be it. Not horrible, but not there yet. It really needs bushings. Like I don't think I'm going to be able to get this driver's side where it needs to be, and it's not going to stay. Just kidding. I'll do what I can. Bump steer's definitely straightened out. The steering wheel's like this. I got to figure out how to solve that. I don't think the rag link. I think the rag link's master's flying. I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. But my center link is squared to the car now, so it's going to make a huge difference in how this thing steers. Because geometry and triangles, equal triangles of geometry. That's what your goal is. This angle's a little bit kicked out. It'll probably push a little to the left from the rear. No adjustments in the back for that, and no bracing, so this thing's gonna twist. Got my cameras even, my casters are off, but the caster's not gonna really be that big of a deal in this car for what he's doing with it, so go. That's it. Lock it down. All right. Well, let me pull homie out of the car. So you can see my steering wheel is nowhere near center. So I'm going to pop it off and see if I can just reclock it. The steering gear is in the right position. The center link is in the right position. And the flat on the Saginaw 525 manual box appears to be in the right position. Normally the flat spot is vertical when you're at your correct center point. And I verified that with a couple other ones that I have sitting here. So I don't have a twisted input shaft or output shaft, because that happens to have a front end collision and a wheel gets hit and it'll actually bend the input shaft on the steering gear and you end up with weird steering wheel position. But I think in this one it was just the wheel adapter was probably just installed wrong. So I'm going to pop it off, rotate it, reclock, put it back on, and that should solve that problem. And then this thing's ready to strip down and get off the rack. Move on to the next one. It does look like the wheel adapter is installed incorrectly. But there is a mark on there, and that would indicate the up position. I think there's too much flare. Maybe that's better. So I'm going to pull the center nut. We'll remove the wheel adapter. Normally the horn pass through, which is that hole there, is right over here. So again, indicates that the wheel is installed incorrectly. So I'll correct that and move on. Wow, somebody hammered that thing on here. Break my tool. I knew when I couldn't get the nut off by hand that it was going to be bad. It's like heaving my tool over. Oh, got it. Wow, I was really on there. Torque specs, guys, they're important. Hey, it does have a master spline on it. They just, I think I like that. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Double check my readings. They should be pretty close, although now that I took the driver's weight out of the car, they'll be a little different. Well, I think my battery's about dead. That brings another alignment and chassis setup to an end. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. See you guys on the next one.